بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن هدي محمد صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال النبي صلوات الله وسلامه عليه من صلى صلاة لم يقرأ فيها بأم القرآن فهي خداج ثلاثا أي فهي خداج غير تمام. On the authority of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said that the messenger, or that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whoever prays a prayer, man salla salatan, and he does not read in that prayer, he does not recite in that prayer the mother of the book, or the mother of the Qur'an, meaning Surah Al-Fatiha, that they do a prayer and they do not recite therein Surah Al-Fatiha, Al-Qur'an, فهي خداج. And the Prophet ﷺ, he repeated this 3 times. He said, then this will be something that will have been aborted and have been prematurely destroyed, prematurely ruined. Then this will be prematurely ruined. Then it will be prematurely ruined. And it won't be complete. Meaning it won't be complete to the point that it could be accepted, as we'll come to see. Now Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was narrating this narration and he was teaching his students from the Tabi'een. He was teaching the individuals from the Tabi'een this particular narration from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they said to him, فَقِيلَ لِأَبُو هُرَيْرَةَ أو فقيل لأبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه إنا نكون وراء الإمام. They said, but sometimes we're behind the Imam. So what about this time now, when we're behind the Imam? Do we still recite? This is what's understood. Even behind the Imam, we recite. فقال, so he said to them, اقرأ بها في نفسك. He said, then you recite it to yourself. Meaning what? Meaning that you recite it in a voice that's audible to yourself, but your lips and your tongue, they're moving. Your lips and your tongue, they're moving. But it's with a voice that's only audible to yourself, so much so that the one next to you couldn't even make out what exactly is you're saying. Ala kullin, he says, فَإِنِّي سَمِعْتُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. He said, because verily I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saying, يقول قال الله تعالى قسمت الصلاة بيني وبين عبدي نصفين ولعبدي ما سأل. He said, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saying that Allah Ta'ala said, I have divided the prayer between myself and between my slave into two halves. And my slave, he will have what he asks for. My slave, he shall have what he asks for. فَإِذَا قَالَ الْعَبْدُ, so when the slave says, الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, قال Allah Ta'ala, حَمَدَنِي عَبْدِي. He said, so when the slave says, all praise and thanks belong to Allah, the Lord of all that exists, then Allah says, my servant has praised me. وَإِذَا قَالَ الرَّحْمَنُ الرَّحِيمُ, and when he says, the most beneficent, the most merciful, قال الله تعالى أثنى علي عبدي, Allah says, verily my slave has glorified me. وَإِذَا قَالَ, and when the slave he says, مَالِكِ يَوْمِ الدِّينِ, the owner of the day of judgment, قال Allah says, مَجَدَنِي عَبْدِي, he says, my slave has exalted me. وَإِذَا قَالَ إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, and when the slave he says, you alone is it who we worship, and unto you alone do we ask for help. قال الله تعالى هذا بيني وبين عبدي ولعبدي ما سأل. Allah says that this is between me and my slave he will have that which he asked for. وَإِذَا قَالَ اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمَ صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So when he says, guide me or guide us to the straight path, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, guide us to the straight path, the path of those whom you are pleased with, not the path of those who you are angry with, nor of those who have gone astray. Allah says, هذا لعبدي ولعبدي ما سأل. Allah Ta'ala, he says, this is for my slave, and my slave will have that which he asks for. My slave will have that which he asks for. This surah is tremendous, so much so that there's not a single salah that is prayed except that it has to be recited therein. So much so that Allah Ta'ala, as the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam informed us in this hadith al-Qudsi, has called this surah the Salah. Allah Ta'ala has called this surah the Salah, where Allah Ta'ala says, as the Prophet ﷺ informs us, that verily I had divided the Salah between myself and my servant into two halves. And then we get into Surah Al-Fatiha. So it's been called the Salah because there's no Salah that's accepted without it. To make this clearer than clear, there comes a hadith عن عبادة بن صامت رضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا صلاة لمن لم يقرأ بفاتحة الكتاب. وراه إمام النسائي وإمام ابن ماجه وصححه إمام الألباني. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said that there is no prayer, there is no salah for the one who does not recite with the Fatiha of the book. Meaning there is no prayer for the one who doesn't recite Surah Al-Fatiha. So this is a reminder to myself and to all of you. It is incumbent that we recite Surah Al-Fatiha even if we're behind the Imam. That we recite it in a voice that's only audible to ourselves, while the Imam is reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. As the ulama explained, that we recite the Surah Al-Fatiha to ourselves. And once we have finished then we draw silence and we listen attentively to that which is recited after it, after Surah Al-Fatiha. And this is because there is no prayer without it. There is no prayer without Surah Al-Fatiha. What's muhim is that you will find that this surah has been called the prayer, because there is no prayer that's accepted without it, and because it is filled with dua. It is filled with dua. And we know that lughatan as-salah means ad-dua. Lughatan, linguistically, salah comes bearing the meaning of dua, linguistically. But shar'i, legislatively, then we know what the prayer is. We know what salah is. It begins with the takbir of ihram, Allahu Akbar, and it ends with the tasneem. But it's important that we gain a benefit from this understanding, because you will find that Surah Al-Fatiha is filled with dua. So we have reached the ayah which says, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. قال علامة الشيخ صالح الفوزان هذا الدعاء, he said, this is a supplication. Oh Allah, guide us to the straight path. This is a supplication. وهو دعاء مسألة, and this is the dua that's called dua mas'ala. And inshallah ta'ala we will explain shortly what that means. And then the Shaykh, he says, وَالَّذِي سَبَقَ فِي الْأَوَّلِ السُّورَةِ, and that which came first in the beginning of the surah, وَهُوَ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ, all praise and thanks belong to Allah, the Lord of all that exists. The Shaykh, he says, this is dua ibadah. This is the dua that's called dua ibadah. Because from dua, as the Shaykh goes on to explain, لأن الدعاء ينقسم إلى قسمين. Because dua or supplication, it breaks down into two different types, two different categories. And we know that all of supplication is ibadah, but there are two different categories from them. Dua ibadah, the dua that's called dua ibadah. And this is, as the Shaykh explains, thana ala Allah, when one praises Allah Ta'ala, when one praises Allah Ta'ala, فَثَنَاءُ عَلَى اللَّهِ دُعَاء, so praising Allah Ta'ala, this is dua. وَهُوَ دُعَاء عِبَادَةً, and it's the dua that's called dua ibadah, the supplication that we supplicate to Allah Ta'ala, by way of which we praise Allah Ta'ala. We praise Allah Ta'ala, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah. All of this is dua ibadah. This is the first type, the supplication where we praise Allah Ta'ala. And we should increase with this. We should increase, because often is the case, when we think about dua, we think about a second category, the dua mas'ala. And dua mas'ala, this is the type of dua when we ask Allah Ta'ala for something. Oh Allah, bless me with righteous children. This is dua mas'ala, when we're asking Allah Ta'ala. Oh Allah, forgive me my sins. Oh Allah, enter me into paradise. Oh Allah, save me from the hellfire. All of this is dua mas'ala, which is ibadah. And it's good, it's excellent, it's from the highest and the best types and forms of worship. But we should not neglect the dua ibadah, wherein we praise Allah Ta'ala, and we exalt Allah Ta'ala, and we praise Him subhanahu wa ta'ala much. So our tongue should be moist with constantly praising Allah Ta'ala. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. We should constantly have this on our tongues, praising Allah over and over and over again, because this is from the finest deeds that an individual can do. So now that we have understood this, that there is no salah that's accepted without Surah Al-Fatiha. And that Surah Al-Fatiha is filled with dua, is filled with praising and worshipping Allah Ta'ala. Then we should try to gain some understanding now. What is it that we're asking for? What is it that we're asking for when we ask Allah Ta'ala? Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. First we have to know what is guidance. What is guidance? Because you'll be surprised to know that most Muslims are not 100% clear on what guidance is. They're not 100% clear on what guidance is. And you can tell that by the way in which they live their lives. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. It's in that proverbial pudding. And that pudding is what we see in how they live their lives. They're not 100% clear. So we want to talk about al-hidayah, bi'ithnillahi ta'ala. Firstly, we should know that hidayah is of 4 types. But the most important from them are the 2 types we're going to mention. Al-hidayah hiya ad-dilala wal-irshad lughatan. In the language hidayah, it means to direct someone to something and to point them to something. So we're asking that Allah Ta'ala, He directs us and He guides us to a thing. So the first type of hidayah we want to speak about is the hidayah of dilala wal irshad. Is that you point and direct, something is pointed and directed, shown. And this type of hidayah is am. This is general. It encompasses the Muslim and the kafir. Because Allah Ta'ala, from His mercy, He has shown to the Muslim the right way, and He has shown to the kuffar the right way. The kuffar, they have been shown the way of Islam. And that Islam, this is the only way that is right. This is the only way which will lead to the Jannah. This is the only guidance. This is guidance. They have been shown this. This has been made clear. So from this aspect, you'll find this type is general. Because the Muslims have been shown and the kuffar have been shown. The proof that the kuffar have been shown is Allah Ta'ala's statement. Where Allah Ta'ala, He informs us about the people of Thamud. Where Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَأَمَّا ثَمُودْ فَهَدَيْنَاهُمْ فَاسْتَحَبُّوا الْعَمَى عَلَى الْهُدَى. He says, and Thamud, the people of Thamud, we guided them. But they preferred blindness over guidance. They preferred blindness over guidance. They didn't want the Islam that they were shown. They preferred something else. So understand this now. We have been shown the Islam. We have been guided to the Islam. How are we going to respond to this now? Are we going to be like the people of Thamud, who prefer blindness over guidance? Or are we going to be like the followers of the prophets and the messengers, alayhimus salatu wassalam, who preferred the guidance over blindness? This is what I leave you with to ponder about for a few seconds. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. Inshallah, we have all benefited from pondering. What do I really want? What is it that I'm really looking for? Because you will find that the mouths say things of which the actions belie. The mouth, you always hear from it good when it comes to affairs like this. Do you want to be guided? Yes. Everyone says yes. Do you want guidance? Yes. Everyone says yes. If you found the guidance, will you live your life in accordance to it? Yes, yes, of course. Everyone says yes. But is that what we see from the actions? Because when we mean guidance in every aspect of our lives. Meaning that there shouldn't be a single affair, a single issue, a single matter that you encounter, except that you question yourselves. What does Islam guide me to do in this situation? And if you know the answer, based on proofs and evidences, then proceed. And if you don't know the answer, then you have to find it out. You have to seek it out and learn. First, what does Islam say I should do? Once you know, then like the believers say, سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا. We hear, we obey. We hear, we obey. Then live your lives according to it. This is in every aspect of your life. From the hairs on your chin. From the hairs on your chinny chin chin. Ya Rijal. O men. What does Islam tell you? What does Islam say to you with regards to this guidance? The Prophet ﷺ, he says, وَاتْرَكُوا اللِّحَى. Leave your beards alone. Extend your beards, let them grow. This is what the Prophet ﷺ, he says, this is the guidance with regards to the hairs on your chinny chin chin. So we don't need a mirror to know where we stand with this. We know already. But this is but an example. Do you want the guidance or not? Because wanting the guidance means you want all of the guidance. Now I want some of it, and I'm going to leave some of it. This is not a salad bar where you pick what you want and leave what you want. Nah, the guidance has to be taken 100%. 100%. From its A to its Z. From its Alif to its Ya. 100%. This is what Islam teaches us. So if you do something contrary to this, then you're not following Islam in that particular affair. And I want everyone to think about this, because see, it is easy for us to look at others and to say what he or she is doing or not doing. And you find this all the time. You find this all the time from those individuals who are not following the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ with regard to how we interact and deal with our rulers. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he informed us to be patient. To be patient when we see things from our rulers that we don't like. To be patient when we see things from our rulers that we don't like. Not to fight against them. Not to protest against them. Not to speak ill against them publicly. Not to speak ill against them secretly and privately as well. Don't speak bad about them. Be patient. But you will find many people who don't follow this guidance, who take the ways that lead to corruption. And they'll say things like, look at what he is not doing. Look at what the ruler is not doing. Look at what the king is not doing. Look at what the sultan is not doing. Look at what the sheikh is not doing. So on and so forth. And they forget themselves. Look at what you and what you're not doing. They blame the ruler for not living and ruling by what Allah revealed in every single affair, while you yourself don't rule by what Allah Ta'ala revealed in every affair. So look to yourself if you want rectification. Look to yourself if you want rectification. Rectify yourself first. How hypocritical is it for an individual? And we mean hypocritical in the English sense, not the Islamic sense. How hypocritical is it for an individual to look at his brother and to say all the things his brother not doing, when he himself has fallen victim to the same thing as not doing the same thing. You want others to rule by the book of Allah, you rule by the book of Allah. Rule by the book of Allah. Rule your chin by the book of Allah. That's right, brothers, today is your turn. Rule your chin by the book of Allah. And somebody might say, Akhi, Muslims are being slaughtered all over the world. Ya akhi, the Muslims are divided. We separated. Ya akhi, we got so many major problems. Why are you worrying about the hairs on my chinny chin chin? Why are you worrying about that for? When Muslims are being slaughtered in this country, oppressed in that country, genocide happening in this country. Why are you worried about the hairs on my chinny chin chin, ya akhi? We got bigger things to worry about. I say to Hamdulillah, there is no small issue in Islam. That's firstly. Every issue is a big issue. Every affair is a big affair. Okay? And granted, there are issues that are bigger than other issues. That's true. That's true. There are issues bigger than other issues. Yes, that's true. But I say to you, utilizing your own argument, because you say this is a smaller issue. So I say to you, utilizing your own argument, if you can't rectify the hairs of your chinny chin chin, what you call a small issue, how in the world are you going to rectify the big issue? How in the world are you going to rectify the big issue? If you can apply Islam to your chin, how are you going to apply it to your country? If you can apply Islam to how your family dress inside your own household, how are you going to apply it to the land? How are you going to apply it to the land? How is it going to go outside your house when you can't do it in your house? How is it going to go outside your person when you can't apply it to your person? So know what you're asking for. You're asking to be guided. Allah Ta'ala has shown us the guidance. So follow the guidance. Allah Ta'ala has shown us the guidance. So follow the guidance. Allah has shown us the guidance. So follow the guidance. I want you to know and to understand that we have been shown the guidance. We have been shown the way. The Prophet ﷺ left us upon that which is clear. It's nighttime, it's like it's day. What are we going to do? Are we going to accept it in our lives 100%? Or are we going to keep making excuses? Are we going to live our lives by it? Or are we going to keep making excuses? What are we going to do? Are we of those who love the guidance? Or are we of those who prefer blindness to the guidance? Don't answer with a word. Don't answer with a word. Answer with your actions. Answer with your actions. Don't answer with a word. Answer with your actions that can be seen. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وأقيموا الصلاة